stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most are off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedledum, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leave him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beast dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need 3 wishes. Stay-at-home Disney dad.
I'm starting to really look forward to the pre-VHS movie ads. So in this one, there's a Disney sizzle reel that's opening shot as the creepy narrator clown from Hunchback. Now keep in mind this is 1999, so they have like 270 minutes of Lion King, Little Mermaid, and Aladdin to choose from. But no, they go with the weirdo that hangs people in the sewers. Next up is an ad for a primitive, old CD-ROM Tarzan point and click game, and the narrator says, "Challenge a smart gorilla," while there's a picture of Jane on the screen. Ouch! We bail out, and if that's not enough, there's an ad for Disneyland itself where a kid looks up into the starry sky, he reaches up and he plucks an actual star from the sky, which teleports him and his family to Disneyland. That, my friends, is a Disney ad hat trick. Bring on the feature presentation. Opening shot of this animated jungle, and it's already exceeding expectations. Cave wall carving of the Tarzan logo, there's a ship on fire, mom and dad barely escape with a baby. We are coming in fast and hard with this opening sequence. Next, we see gorilla family, and the two families aren't so different. Human parents love human baby, gorilla parents love gorilla baby. And I hate Phil Collins. Okay, oh my god, Shere Khan eats the baby gorilla? What the actual f***? The gorilla hears a human baby crying and... Okay, what? The tiger has also killed the human parents? Am I understanding this? The tiger wiped out the baby's parents and the gorilla kid, and you know, now that I'm saying it aloud, it actually makes a lot of sense. The only thing I really know about Tarzan is that he was raised by gorillas. Alright, the parent's blood is on the floor next to the baby. This is some dark Dexter stuff. The gorilla cuddles the baby and... Jesus, the tiger is in the ceiling and attacks the gorilla. Okay, 3 out of 6 ain't enough for this bloodthirsty tyrant. This is no smart talking Disney villain. This is a killing machine fueled by a never-ending bloodlust. The gorilla saves the baby human, and wow, if this were a Disney movie in the 60s, that series of opening events would have been stretched out for the first 70 minutes of the movie. This is intense. Again with the Phil Collins song, I don't get it. Disney is such a cutting-edge, forward-thinking company that not only stays ahead of the curve, but is the curve. And yet back in the day, they thought kids were really into Phil Collins and Randy Newman. I wish back in like 2003, some Disney execs gave Collins a try into Newman and Nat and let them fight it out to the death, with the winner singing the title track of every Disney and Pixar movie for the next 3 decades. Okay. I feel like this is the last generation of 2D animation they used, and I kind of love it. Tarzan is an outcast because he's a human kid, and the gorilla children are jerks. The animals in the jungle, just everything looks so amazing and crisp and realistic, but then the elephants show up and they're red, and they look like they were drawn by the intern. It's weird. I wonder if they used like Lion King stock footage. I'm not trying to be funny. The elephants look like the ones that make that bizarre animal tower pyramid at the end of Just Can't Wait to Be King. Okay, there's an elephant stampede, so look out, Mufasa. Oh man, if they killed Dad Gorilla, we're down to like 2 of the original 6 characters already. Okay, for the record, Gorilla Dad is terrifying, and he goes off on little Tarzan. Look at him, he will never be one of us. Tarzan tears up and runs away, and come on, Tarzan, whose dad hasn't yelled at them at least once, right? Mom comforts Tarzan, and how do we bridge out of this sad, touching moment? That's right, more Phil Collins. Okay, don't get me wrong. In the Air Tonight, Mama, classics in every sense of the word. Phil Collins deserves all the notoriety the man has earned, but hearing Phil Collins sing vaguely about gorilla love or being in your heart or whatever is a little less inspiring. To be fair, I assume he walked into the studio and the Disney music people handed him a lyric sheet and off they went. I also imagine video clips of him singing that song in the Disney soundstage, holding back tears with a fake smile grotesquely stretched across his face, could be added to the final sequence in Requiem for a Dream and wouldn't feel out of place at all. Tarzan is all grown up and he kind of glides across the branches like Iceman and swings through the trees like Spider-Man, and once again, regardless of what they are being paid, the animators deserve a raise. It's like they are forcing an impossible third dimension with 2D Wait, this is actually a weird blend of 3D background animation and 2D characters, isn't it? You only notice it in places. A tiger, no, the tiger attacks and Tarzan tackles him to a bit and spears the beast to death, carrying it out of the pit above his head in victory. That was badass. That was great. Flip the Curtis is invested switch, because Curtis is invested. Tarzan is in the jungle and he sees some humans and they shoot at him. There's a Craven the Hunter looking strongman who's awesome. Then there's this old man bumbler who looks like the Monopoly guy, and then there's Jane. Tarzan hangs upside down and sniffs them, and that's funny. Tarzan likes what he sees with Jane. Craven suddenly kick-flips a shotgun up into his own hands and fires off some rounds into the trees. I love this guy. I know you're not supposed to love this character, but that was awesome. Show me any other character in any other movie that kick-flips a freaking shotgun into his own hands. Jane is left alone, and oh my god, Rafiki has fallen on hard times. There's some rabid baboons, and he leads a murderous charge. They chase Jane. That's a circle of life indeed. Animation is off the charts as Tarzan repeatedly saves Jane's life. This is some incredible work. Tarzan is full on Spider-Man. At the last second, he presses Jane up against a tree as a giant branch narrowly misses them, and this is getting hot. H-A-W-T. Tarzan studies her and he's infatuated with her tiny feet. Now it's just getting weird. He studies her arms and hands, and this whole scene looks like 100 covers to 100 romance novels. He tries cuddling her and she pushes him away. Oh, Tarzan, nobody, you can't. Okay, good. He takes the hit and takes her back to camp. See, real dudes out there watching this? Tarzan knows like 6 English words. He's never even been next to a real woman before in his life, and he understood loud and clear the negative signals she was giving him. Okay, now you can really notice what's 3D and 2D here. It's getting less blended. Tarzan and the monkeys run away as Craven and Monopoly Guy rush to Jane, and the Monopoly Guy is like, Jane, you almost didn't pass go and collect $200. She tries to tell them about Tarzan and draws him out of chalk and gets all hot and bothered, and the Monopoly Guy says, all right, Jane, I'll leave you and the blackboard alone. Which is pretty funny and not appropriate for this movie. She's trying to convince them that Tarzan is real, and I know the third act is going to be when Craven finally comes face to face with Tarzan in an epic first meeting of manliness, and he will be like, oh my god, Tarzan was real, and... Oh wait, Tarzan just comes back and meets Craven and the Monopoly Man. That was a weird bridge to nowhere. Phil Collins montage as we all get along. Craven wants Tarzan to show them where the gorillas are so he can hunt them, but Tarzan doesn't understand that, and he can't take them to his gorilla family anyway, because his gorilla dad will be mad, and that's a fun plot detour. Uh-oh, due to the lack of dead gorillas, the hunters are being forced to pack up camp and head back home. Jane wants Tarzan to come back with her to England, and he doesn't understand. She tries again, and he still doesn't get it. Draw this guy a picture, Jane. Craven's name is Clayton, which isn't really manly, but whatever. Clayton tricks Tarzan into showing them where the gorillas live in an attempt to get Jane to stay in the jungle a little longer. I know this is going to be a tense betrayal, but if Clayton shoots Tarzan's jerk dad and Tarzan gets to live with Jane, that is like win, 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 win. Win, win, win. Oh man, there's an amazingly animated scene where the camera angle does a full 360 matrix around Jane, revealing dozens of gorillas all around her in the trees. It's subtle how Jane becomes a more likable character as they ramp down her English accent. Gorilla Dad shows up, sees Clayton with a gun, and it is on. Actually, it's on like Donkey Kong, which works really well in this scenario. Gorilla Dad says Tarzan betrayed them. Like, what did you expect, Tarzan? Gorilla Dad was madder than this when he started a stampede. You brought guns here. So can we talk about Tarzan's hairless body for a second? Like, no hair, no stubble, no 5 o'clock shadow anywhere on this man, yet he has beautiful long hair. Mom Gorilla takes Tarzan to his old treehouse home, and he sees pictures of baby Tarzan and his human parents, and he is shocked. He's a human after all. You never put that together until now. He walks out dressed in pants, shoes, a shirt, and jacket, and wow, once again Disney has changed the mood on an American dime. He says goodbye to his mom, and what just happened? I'm sad. This is where we could use some Phil Collins music. Domesticated Tarzan gets on a boat with his human friends, and it seems like the end of the movie, but I know it isn't. How do I know it isn't? Since the last person who watched this tape didn't rewind it. I had to, and now my VCR time code is counting backwards, and it still says there's 26 minutes left. Bam. They take a rowboat to the main boat, and Clayton's men all attack Tarzan and hold him down. It was a trap. Tarzan's elephant hears Tarzan scream, and Tarzan's childhood friend, the monkey kid, doesn't want to help Tarzan, but the poorly drawn elephant says he's had enough of his, quote, emotional constipation. In the ship dungeon, Tarzan and Jane and the Monopoly Guy are there as well. Clayton betrayed them all, I guess. Up top, the elephant and monkey child are stomping the mean sailors trying to save Tarzan. Angry Dad is milling about in the jungle, and here comes Clayton and his hunter friends with the ambush. I already used it once, but you didn't laugh hard enough, so here it is again. It's on like Donkey Kong. The humans ambush the gorillas, and Clayton walks towards Dad Gorilla and pulls out his shotgun. And before, when I compared him to Kraven the Hunter, I was kind of stretching it, but geez, the animation sequence here looks almost identical to the scene from Kraven's Last Hunt. He's gonna shoot Dad Gorilla in the face, saying this one will be better stuffed, and I don't think Clayton knows how taxidermy works. You probably don't want to blow his face off if you want to proudly display this guy, but what do I know? Anyway, we get the iconic Tarzan call, and he unleashes his Tarzan rage on everyone, and he helps his gorilla friends escape. He tussles with Clayton and ends up with a gun pointed at Clayton, and Clayton tells him to do it and be a man. And suddenly the entire training warrior troop from Mulan hops out of the jungle. Be a man! Not now, guys. And Mulan. Okay, Tarzan fires it beside his face, and that must have been loud, but even Clayton's eardrums are too manly, and he doesn't faze him at all. They continue to fight, and then they both fall out of the tree. Clayton has a thick vine wrapped around his neck, and as they fall from the tree, he gets hanged. Yeah, Clayton is dead because he got hanged, not hung, hanged from a tree in a Disney movie. Hanged. That's pretty heavy, but I guess that's still a better ending than the real Kraven got. Clayton is dead, and angry Gorilla Dad is also dead, but on his deathbed he tells Tarzan he was actually secretly proud of him the whole time. Then the Monopoly men convince Jane to stay with Tarzan, and they rush towards each other and kiss, and when they do, the tape goes fuzzy, and the auto tracking feature goes to work trying to correct it. And no one under 35 has any idea what I'm talking about, but that makes me wonder if the former owner of this VHS tape rewound it and rewatched that part with them kissing like 100 times until it crinkled the tape. Kind of weird. The ending sequence is another montage to Phil Collins, and now Jane can keep up to Tarzan surfing barefoot on tree branches, which is quite an accomplishment. Fade to black, roll credits to a high energy song by Offspring. Just kidding, more Phil Collins. Then there's an ad for the soundtrack by Phil Collins, and then an extra music video for Strangers Like Me from Phil Collins, and Phil is singing in the jungle, and it's spliced with movie footage, and at one point he spins and a bunch of strangers appear and disappear beside him, because strangers. And after all this brutal honesty, yeah, that was actually a pretty good song. Now there's a behind the scenes look at Phil Collins scatting to the song Trashing the Camp with boy band NSYNC, and what is happening? Original Justin Timberlake with his tight blonde curls, they interview NSYNC, this is fascinating. Joey's excited he got to work with Phil Collins, Justin is all concise and interesting, and Lance Bass is like, music is what we make! Please be more Phil Collins, show more footage of him, there's gotta be more. He's smoking behind the soundstage or ordering pizza or something, there has to be more Phil Collins footage you haven't used. Nope, finally we fade to black, all Collins have been filled.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the man has some kind of a hold over the channel that he's allowed to be employed for so long with the standards of journalism and personal appearance